Buckets. That's the name of my boat. Buckets.
Buckets. What we get.
Not the only transfer we got from Florida. Keith Stone, too. Remember that.
Everybody who watches his show on a regular basis knows my love of the stretch four.
You know, we all make mistakes. He might have made one going to Tallahassee.
If y'all don't know. Dribble to the left, cross over to the right. Hurricane to the game, many buckets for the night. Matt with the pick and roll, Melissa with the give and go. This Shelly, you hoodie girl dunking in the hole. Check the scoreboard, this what we fall for. Beat the gameplay, they want an encore. Yeah, overtime for another round. It's buckets out the buckets, baby. You out of time. It's buckets. What it is, homie? It's buckets. Woo! We get buckets. Yeah, baby, buckets.
I have no shame.
I know. That's the problem.
You guys are awesome.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Buckets. I'm Matt. He's Vish. She's Melissa. Vish, how are you feeling?
Ready for tomorrow. Finally can see the men play a competitive team, at least in a tournament settings. It'll be fun.
There we go. Melissa?
Go Barons.
Did Matt freeze? Like at the time when he said go Bear? Oh, he definitely froze.
You froze, but now you're back.
You froze something awful there, yes.
Yeah.
It looked like you were stunned by her. It actually looked like you were annoyed by her Go Barons. And then it flashed to you in skipping, like popping it. But
Matt's team that he coaches won by like 60 today. That's why we're doing late night buckets. The usuals in the chat, CCH and Bill.
CCH, don't get too excited, but there's been rumblings about a baseball show that's going to be happening. But
me and Vish were actually discussing baseball earlier.
That was part of the rumblings were a fallout from that. We're waiting for the schedule should be dropping soon. We're gonna do something around that as well as the remains of the baseball team after several cuts today, which we're not going to get into on this show. Instead, we're going to talk hoops.
So the plan for tonight's show is we're going to break down the FIU game, the women's game versus FIU, and then we're going to talk about the men's team in the tournament. We'll see some better competition, and so we'll break down that bracket as well. So shall we start with the women? Ladies first.
Absolutely.
Tonight's board says Daniela Abi's fan club.
There you
Came
go.
in clutch. So the women won. Oh wait, let me bring up the stats. What am I doing?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a rough start.
Rough start. We did start slow.
What was it, like 7 offensive rebounds in the first quarter and few turnovers, a shot clock violation to start, but I mean, it wasn't.
I think part of that was also. I mean, we forget this because it frankly doesn't really matter to us, but for FIU, this is the crosstown rival. It's like the big, it's the big game for them. It's not
they definitely came out hot.
Yeah, they came out energetic, and we were kind of going through the emotions.
Yeah, they had 7 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. Yeah. And we only had 3 turnovers. I thought we had more. Never mind. But yeah, and that was pretty early on. It looked like they're big. They had this one really big girl on their team. And so they were able to kind of do what they want on offense, and we weren't getting good looks and getting out on transition on off the defense. So we started slow, but we ended up tying it by the first quarter, and then we kind of just took off from there.
Yeah.
It didn't help that our front court got in foul trouble. Nat Marshall had 2 fouls early in the first quarter. The second one was kind of bullshit. And then Cam actually picked up her second foul in the second quarter. And then they both picked up their third foul within the first 30 seconds of the third quarter after Vish said, let's see how long.
Yeah.
Vish was like, let's see how long they can avoid.
No, I think my exact words, it's actually good because we can see how they played through foul trouble, and within 30 seconds, they were no longer playing through foul trouble. They were on the bench with worse foul trouble.
But this is where my board comes into play because Daniela Abbey's off the bench was elite. Now, her box score isn't going to look flashy because she tipped a lot of balls on defense.
She had a ton of deflections.
That she's not going to get credit for the steal for, but she had to play the 5. Like, she wasn't playing the 4 for pretty much the entire second quarter, and then Cam went out with 2 fouls, and then she was playing the 5. And then she had to come in right away in the third quarter. She played hold on.
25?
Whole thing. She played 27 minutes.
27. Damn.
Which
it's close.
I don't think she even played. I mean, I'd have to pick it up. Did she even break the 15-minute mark in the first few games that we've played? It was definitely the most minutes she's played. Her plus minus was 29. So, but she was 4 for 6 from the field with 8 points, had only 4 rebounds, a block and 3 steals. But again, she had she caused so many deflections, whether it was off of a rebound where she tipped it to another player or tipped it and caused one of our other players to get the steal. She was, it was kind of like her coming out party on this team. And to have her be, that efficient coming off the bench is going to be very valuable for us as the season goes on and we get into ACC play, because foul trouble's been an issue. The last 2 games for Nat, she's been in foul trouble. And then Cam also had some foul trouble, although she didn't pick up her, I don't think she ever picked up a 4th foul.
No, we pulled the starters,
Yeah, well, Nat picked up a 4th foul within like a minute of coming back in from her 3rd, so it was kind of. So, Vish, what were your thoughts? Me and Vish were there. So, Vish, what stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, the foul trouble was a big one. I thought we got I thought the flow of the first quarter. We came out, as we all said, a little slow. They jumped out early, and then I think Coach did a good job. She sat the starters, and even though the backups actually didn't really make up much ground, if any, the game kind of settled down a little bit. And then when the starters came back, we kind of throttled them at the end of the first and into the second. I think started the second quarter on like an 8-0 run. The game was over. So at that point, I think didn't really come close after that.
I think this is the best game that I've seen from our bench this season. We had 44 bench points.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was not in the competitive part of the game, though.
No, I think Roger. Well, minus the points thing, Rogers and Abby's had to play a lot of minutes because of our front court foul trouble, and I think they played very well.
No, they did, and Baby D's basically a 6th starter at this point. But
yeah.
But I mean, I'm talking more about like when the game got put away with the kind of the starters on the court at the end of the first, beginning of the second. That run at the beginning of the second basically ended the game.
Yeah.
And I think the backups have consistently, other than Florida when maybe the game was a little bit big for some of the younger players, they performed well in the other games as well. So I think it's just a continuation of they're contributing well. This was the first time. Obviously, this is the first one outside of again. I don't really. I know Baby D's coming off the bench, but she's a different caliber player than you consider a bench player. So it's almost like another starter outside of her. Abby's, this is the first time someone else has really had to play extended minutes versus they can play extended minutes because the game is out of hand, and she really rose to the occasion. So definitely.
She did. She was our buckets player of the game.
Yeah, I mean,
I
mentioned she had
just
3
that.
steals, but like, I mean, they had 32 turnovers. She probably was responsible for like 10 of them, if we like put a number on it. But I mean, I thought you really won this one defensively, right? That's what kind of got you going offensively. They shot like 33%. I thought we did a really good job at taking away the drives, whatnot. We ran that. It was like a 1-3-1 zone.
We
with
did.
like a beast at the top. Nat was on the top. Try to make it hard to get that first pass going with the length and whatnot. I think that caused some issues. Obviously we gave up the early offensive rebounds. I don't know, what did they have in total? It was 7 in the first quarter. Was it like? I know they
for FIU, their total offensive rebounds, they had 7 in the first quarter and they ended with 15.
Yeah, so I mean, I think a lot of those too were like long rebounds that were kind of awkward. But no, I thought we did a good job of preventing them getting easy looks at the rim. But
yeah, like you said, it was the defense that turned it.
Yeah, and like a beast too, like just to I mean, those deflections and whatnot, like what were really got us out in transition, got us easy looks. I mean, that's why her box plus score is plus 29, because we were able to create offense from it. So, when like Melissa says, like you can't just look at the box score, look at her stat line. It really doesn't, It
doesn't do her justice at all.
Yeah, it doesn't do her justice of how good of a game she had.
Well, part of it does
because
she was plus 29.
Yeah, that's the part that does her justice.
But no one really looks at the box plus.
No,
you know what I mean in the stats. It's mainly like how many points, how many rebounds.
As far as scoring, it was pretty even. I mean, our leading scorer was Darion at 12. You had Jasmine at 9, and Nate Adams at 11. A bunch of people at 7 and 6, a few people at 8. So the scoring was kind of like everybody was contributing. I just want to point out again our free throws. There was a lot of fouls called in this game, and we went 22 of 26 from the line, which is massive. And Nate Adams has yet to miss a free throw this season.
Dog.
Matt, that's Matt's favorite player. Matt, comments on Nate Adams?
She's a dog, dude. Swear, taking charges, diving on the floor. I love it, man.
Yeah, she takes a charge every game. I thought Abby's on defense as well. She took a charge. She caused a few offensive fouls on FIU away from the ball because they're trying to establish, down low, and Abby's was like, she wasn't having it, and she drew a foul down low, and it was away from the ball. I was just super impressed with her play. I'm really excited to see as the season goes on how she does against an ACC competition. But right now, having her come off the bench, as a backup for our front court is I'm very happy about that. She looked great. That was a coming out party for her for sure.
Well, I mean, she's experienced.
Give a shout out to
a lot at Wichita State. Yeah, go ahead. Did Matt freeze again? He's about to shout Jasmine too, and he's taking my bit here. But
and he looks very serious.
That was karma coming for him for trying to shout out Jasmine. When Jasmine's my player, you can't shout out Jasmine.
Matt,
I'm shouting out Jasmine because I mean,
go ahead.
You know what she can do, like scoring. She's really good in the mid range, whatnot. But like, I mean, she had 6 offensive rebounds, I believe.
6 offensive.
So
looking to make total.
Looking to make an impact in other ways. So you love to see that from your best player. So.
Her mid-range game is elite. She had 9 points, 3 of 8 from the field, so not like her best shooting, but 8 rebounds, 3 steals. I mean, you want her. She's like Visha. She's the best player on the floor. I do want to point out, though, I was rewatching the game today because when we're at the game, I'm live tweeting, so I missed a few things. So there was a few things I noticed rewatching the game today. One is that Cam Marshall had a couple of right at the free throw line or right in front of the free throw line, like mid-range jumpers that she made. And if she can make those regularly, that's going to be huge for her game. If the big has to come out and guard her there, if she can just, do a little pump fake and one dribble to the basket, that'll be huge for her. So I'm looking forward to see how that goes for her. Nat Marshall.
Beast drilled one too.
Yeah, it was a long two. She was like right in front of the 3-point.
Yeah, she was on the line.
Yeah. And then she got a little excited and she airballed a 3, but that's okay. Nat Marshall's 3-point shot looks really good from the corners. If she can stay out of foul trouble, that the duo of her and Cam is going to be we haven't been able to see it the last couple of games because Nat's been in foul trouble and then Cam was also in foul trouble this game. So if they can stay out of foul trouble, that's such a dynamic duo. And with the way Abis looked this game, it's a nice rotation that we have. And then even Rogers was kind of having to play the 4 for a bit just because of the foul trouble. And I think she held her own too. And when Rogers sets to shoot a 3, if she has time to set her feet, because she's been called for a few travels this year when she's going to take a 3 because she's like setting her feet and she's not taking the dribble. But when she has time to set her feet, her shot is elite, man. It's so smooth. And she releases the ball so quickly. It doesn't give the defense time to react. Our 3-point, we had a really good 3-point percentage against Florida, but other than that, threes haven't really been falling. We only shot 5 of 22 this game. And none of those threes were from the Cavenders. So when our shooting picks up and threes start falling, I think we can be a really high scoring team. Also, did any of you watch the press conference after the game?
I
did. I sent it to you.
Darian at the end, because they were asking about, I think it was Michelle Kaufman asked about, like, because it was Jasmine, Darian, and Coach. And I think it was Michelle Kaufman that asked, like, the players, like, what they want to work on for, like, the next game. And Darian touched on, rebounding and using her size at her position more. But she also said, she was like, I'm a great shooter, humbly. And I was like, you go, Darian.
I'd love to know what goes on in her mind when someone goes under a screen on her.
Well, I mean, she's what Melissa mentioned the percentage isn't great, but she doesn't. The thing I like about her is, she's got that confidence. She doesn't force it though. It's not that she doesn't take bad shots. She's not chucking.
They're in rhythm.
Right. Yeah. They're all within the flow of the offense. She's got a good stroke and a good release there. And she's the only one who had double figures in shot attempts, but she shoots and she went 2 of 8 from 3, but I'm glad she keeps that confidence because we're going to want her to keep shooting. And
they were good looks too.
Yeah,
it wasn't
that's my point. She doesn't force anything. She lets the game come to her, but when she's got space to get that shot up, she takes it. You need that to stretch the floor out. We didn't really have that last year, and it hurt. That's what Stedman was supposed to bring to the table and didn't. Just wouldn't fall.
And if you watch when she's shooting a 3 or when the offense is within rhythm, because I rewatched it today and I rewound a bunch of times to watch her shoot. She's in a shooting stance, calling for the ball. She'll get herself to a spot where the post can see her for the kick out. Or if the ball's getting, passed around and she's in the corner, she's in a shooting stance, ready to catch the ball with her hands like this, ready to go. So she knows she can shoot and she's very confident with it. I know she only went 2 of 8, but like all of her shots were good shots. Again, it's in transition when she goes to shoot a 3 that she's been called on the travel a few times. So that's the only thing she's got to work on with her. It's take a dribble and get set. But she has had a few calls where she's traveled. Also, shout out to Toxic Fart. I see him in the chat. She's hopefully going to be the next one on the show, by the way. We just got to figure out. I was going to ask her to come on tonight, but because it was a late show, I didn't want to be like, hey, are you free at 11 p.m. when they have like 7 a.m. shoot arounds,
Yeah, and they do have a little Friday at 5 is their next game against Campbell at home, and then after that it's the Thanksgiving tournament they host every year.
Yeah, Vish will be covering those games because this is my weekend to work, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll be out at the Campbell game on Friday at 5. Should be another dub.
Should be. So he'll be live tweeting.
Yes.
From the account. Anything else? What's up, Nate? Sorry, I'm late. I just made someone rage quit on NCAA 25. I love it.
Nice.
Any other thoughts on the women's game? They are getting ice cream again. They shot 84.6%. If you check out the Buckets account, I actually posted statistics from last year's free throw shooting versus this year's free throw shooting. And it's crazy because it's like 12 pages of teams because there's so many teams in Division I. this year so far, I know we're only 4 games in, but we're on that first page. Last year for the season, we were on the 12th page, the last page. So free throw shooting, some of these games are going to be closer, and it's going to come down to free throw shooting. And we've got players that can shoot from the line, including our bigs. So it's going to be I don't know that there's anybody that teams are going to be like, oh, let's foul this person because they're a bad free throw shooter. So that's good to have.
Yeah, and I mean, most of our, in fact, I think all of them that transferred last year transferred to P4 schools, and yeah, I did a little bit of a dive last night into how they're performing, and not great, Bob. So
no, the one that transferred went to a power school.
Yeah, and they're not. You know, I think Lachey's playing a ton of minutes and scoring some points at a very inefficient. Cheyenne is really playing poorly. Allie's still not getting a lot of minutes. Z had a good first game, is kind of tapered off. Same thing with Kyla. Tosh is barely playing. So I mean, it's. I don't know. I mean, we're seeing a difference here.
And we kept the best player on the court.
Yes, we did. Jasmine Roberts is the best player on the court anytime Jasmine Roberts is on the court. But the other
that.
Would you stop telling me what to dictatorship has gone too far, damn it. Now I can't even do the clipping without you telling me what
basketball, it's not Make-A-Wish.
Now you're stealing my lines? What is this?
No, I'm just quoting you because that was such a great just great flow of conversation point that you made.
Well, we're gonna talk about the Make-A-Wish and figure out how they're gonna do the rotations.
Yeah. Anything else? Also, the shoe game for the women, on point. Coach Fitz was rocking the Sambas last night. Some of the players, they're wearing some nice shoes, man. Nay was wearing these other orange and green Adidas shoes that I hadn't seen before. Yeah, Adidas is getting some good stuff for the players and the coaches, I gotta say. But shout out to Fitz for wearing the Sambas because I have those shoes too.
And for us.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The shoes we did.
Shout out to the shoe game.
Baby D was rocking them yesterday, so she
has been. Them. And I think Nay's has worn them too at some point.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah.
Baby D's been rocking them all, but yeah.
Well, that's how we ended up getting them.
Yes.
It was, she caused the chain of events that
we will when we get her on the show. I thanked her at the dinner. I told her I was like, your post inadvertently got us free shoes. But I love it because I don't know if I said this on the show, but when we talked to her and I said I was like, all the coaches are telling us we need to get you on the show, and she's like, as it should be.
We have 2 Nates.
She's gonna be fun. She's gonna be fun to have on the show. So any other things for the women before we move on to the Charleston Classic tournament?
You mean before we talk about Underdog Fantasy and then move on to the Charleston?
Yeah. Just one last Daniela Abby's fan club. I don't know the everyone pronounces it differently, so I don't know if I'm saying it correctly.
It should be ABS. If that's what it should be.
I don't know.
ABS, right?
Daniela, I'm a fan.
Should be ABS.
Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong.
It should be ABS.
Oh, Nate just switched.
No, I know. I made a joke about there's 2 Nates.
Nate and anyway. evil twin Nate.
Anyway, let's hit this ad and then we'll come out and talk about the men.
Time to nap.
That bouncing ball can only mean one thing. It's time to hoop. And with Underdog Fantasy, you can play higher or lower on all your favorite players, like Miami's own Tim Hardaway Jr. I love Underdog's Win Now feature, which lets you cash out whenever you want. So join over 5 million fans that are already playing on Underdog. And with their Pick'em game, you could win money by making entries with your favorite players. Download the app today and use code 5REASONS to get up to $1,000 in bonus cast instantly. That's UnderdogFantasy.com and the offer code 5REASONS to get up to $1,000 in bonus cast. That is FIVEREASONS. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY.
Is Matt still frozen? Oh, no, he's not. Okay. I thought he froze before we went to the ad. Vish,
I did freeze like a little before.
For making that ad a good 30 seconds shorter by reading the ending as fast as you did.
Well,
love it.
It's break time for everyone, so I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, on to the Charleston Classic. The men open tomorrow, noon, against Drake. I know Matt and Melissa, you've done a little bit of digging on Drake.
I did some digging on Drake, but
the team we knocked out of the first round of the NCAA tournament.
But Matt did more of a deep dive because
I wouldn't call it a deep dive. It's not really I didn't really watch any of their games or anything.
Yeah, but you know more about them.
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
take the wheel and get us started here.
So they lost their head coach. I don't know how you say it. DeFries. His son was on the team when we played him.
Yep.
He transferred along. He went to West Virginia. And his son transferred over to West Virginia as well. They lost I think it's 3 of their other starters. Or no. They lost 3 of their other starters to transfer. And then Brody, I don't know if you guys remember their big guy.
Oh, we remember Brody.
Yeah, he's out of
Which guy
eligibility.
definitely remembers Brody.
Yeah,
Brody.
So it's an older roster now. A lot of JUCO. There's some JUCO transfers and some D2 guys.
Sup, Rocky?
So, I mean, just from what stuck out to me, there's definitely some opportunities to force turnovers. They're the 5th worst in turnover percentage. And I think just offensively, they're not as efficient as they were in years past. But it'll be an interesting one. I know a lot of the people that break down mid-majors aren't as big on them this season. Not as highly ranked, so we'll see. But yeah.
I'll also say the depth isn't there. They've played, so they're undefeated. They're actually the only Missouri Valley team that's undefeated right now, but they played.
They haven't played anybody.
They played a couple of closer. They played York College in Nebraska, whatever the hell that is, and killed them. But not beat Stephen F. Austin by 15. Only beat FGCU by 2. And in that game, their 2 best players played the entire game. They didn't sub them, so they went 40 minutes. So that can tell you what they think about their depth. Their
leading scorer is averaging 35.5 minutes per game.
Yeah, no, and Daniel Abreu, Bennett Sturtz are their 2 best players. They played the entire game against.
Abreu's averaging about 33 minutes a game. So.
Yeah. So we'll. I think those are the 2 to key in off of. They do the bulk of the heavy lifting. But yeah, don't expect a big bench contribution from them. So.
What do we think? What do we think our rotation is going to be like? Do we think we go with these line changes, or is there actually some method to the madness?
I think there's going to be method that I don't agree with, but I think that's what I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see the same starting 5 as the last game, and we're going to see Joe Bay and Staten McRae as the first 2 off the bench and getting a majority of the bench minutes. And I think you'll see Divine's role shrink over what it's been. And I think you're going to see very sporadic minutes from everyone else that's not Staten McRae and Joe Bay. That's for bench players.
So I was watching Maxed Out yesterday, Max, friend of the show, and him and Mike were actually discussing hoops, including the women's team. It's always nice to turn on a football show and listen to them discussing hoops. But they both, not that I agree with this, but they both agreed on that they actually prefer having Matthew Cleveland come off the bench because of his scoring ability and the spark that he could provide off the bench. And continue to have Staten McRae start. How do you guys feel about that? I did not agree with that sentiment.
I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think Matthew Cleveland is one of the top players in the ACC. Why would you bring him off the bench? I think, honestly, I know we're all happy that we have more options off the bench. I'm writing Nigel, Jalen Blackman, Matthew, Brandon Johnson, Link Kidd. Like, what do I'd love Jaleel to play a significant role. Coach L apparently doesn't think he's whatever's going on there. He's not going to. Let the talent play. Like, we don't need to spare minutes. It's a 40-minute game. It's not the NBA.
And that's what I tried to say, because I was like, with the injury to our backup center and Brandon Johnson having to move to the 5 to spell in Kidd, you need Cleveland on the floor because there are going to be times where you have to move him to the 4 in close games, because you're not going to want, no offense to Jobé, but you may not want him on the court. You're going to need Cleveland scoring. I guess I don't get the premise, because you do stuff like that sometimes in the NBA where you're managing across 48 minutes. It's a 40-minute game. Yeah.
Matthew Cleveland is
you want Matthew Cleveland to play as many. You want him to play as many minutes as possible.
Yeah, you want to play 30 to 35 minutes. You're not. It's not the like. No, that is a strategy in the NBA where, you sit. If you're starter, you want to keep them under 40 minutes. So your star players, they're sitting for 10 plus minutes a game. So it might make sense to, all right, we don't want to go on these scoring droughts. We'll have a better scorer come off the bench to plug that gap when the star goes out. Nah, man. In college, you just ride the starters. Just 40 minutes is not that much for the overall game. If you're going to give them a couple of minutes each half, get them down to 35. That's it, right? That's all you want to do with your best players. So no, I don't recall anyone in college ever putting their better player on the bench. Big of offense. Yeah. It's just not a thing you do because of the way the minutes are allocated. It doesn't make sense to do that. And he's a better defender too. Like, he's a better player. And Stat McRae's best strength is his defense. He might be the second best perimeter deep. But Matthew Cleveland's a beast of a player. Like, I think we forget he played him out of position last year and he had to deal with it. But there's a night and day difference. He's on I think
and the other thing too is
and he's a two-way player.
Yeah, well, like, in NBA teams are making like line changes, right? That's why you have that 6-man that like scorer off the bench, right, to contribute in the second unit. But we can say we have all this depth and whatnot, but like, at the end of the day, we're riding with Nigel, Jalen Blackman, just like Vish said. These guys are going to be playing a majority of minutes, so I'm not really concerned. Well, now that we're getting to these games that are going to be a lot more competitive, right? I would hope so.
If the NBA games were 40
you want
minutes,
the best players on the floor.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep, absolutely. And if NBA games were 40 minutes, like, a lot of these superstars would never even come out of the game.
Yeah.
It's 40 minutes. They play 38 now, but that still means they're sitting for 10. So yeah, no, that's not really a...
I brought up a really good talking point that you guys just went...
Yeah, it's just like when you ask Coach P1 man or zone, and that's a debate. This is another debate of that same ilk.
Not really a debate, but in the moment, the words come out of my mouth before I think about them.
Well, you have no shame. So, the one thing I want to ask you too
Rocky agrees with us.
Well, I think if you have people that watch a lot of NBA ball, that it's a different sport. If it was the NBA, that might make sense. Although he's not the one I'd bring off the bench. It'd probably be Jalen Blackman. Actually, if you're trying to do scoring off the bench, and thinking that you need to like rotate out, not Cleveland, I'd start the more defensive 2 guard would be Stat McRae, and then we could rotate Blackman for bench scoring. But I'm not saying we should do that because again, college is a different game. But he's actually a better candidate for that. But anyway, moving past that topic too. So we are playing, regardless of how the results, it is 3 games in 4 days. So, because everyone plays 3 games, you might end up in the 9th place game on the last day, but you're playing that 3rd game. So, hopefully we don't. So, how do you think that'll affect how heavily we rotate, especially like starting tomorrow? Does he kind of limit everyone's minutes just to make sure that he has legs for the second game?
The hope is, considering we're the more superior team based off of stats and paper, The hope is that, the game is, pretty much out of hand and already decided and at least halfway through the second half, if not beforehand, so that we can rest our starters. That's the hope.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he'll do that if we get to a situation, but he's got to have a plan coming in to not be able to do that.
I'm sure he does. It's not like he hasn't had.
Right. So do you think he'll? So I think my question still stands. Do you think? Do you think he'll? This is for both of you. If Matt ever stops freezing, do you think he'll like have people like I try to limit the minutes of some of our starters because 24 hours later you're playing again.
Maybe a little bit, but at the end of the day, you want to win the game. So I think it depends on the flow of the game.
I think it just depends how close it is.
And the situation, yeah.
All right, so
me and Matt are both saying situational again on a question that Vish asked us.
I think he'll sub earlier in the first half and rotate heavier in the first half than he otherwise would. And then hopefully we're in a position for him to do it in the second half. Obviously you have to win, but if you're going to buy minutes, do it early where you still have time and then play the second half based on the situation. Because 3 games in 4 days is a lot, and definitely back-to-backs basically don't happen in college other than in these preseason tournaments and in conference tournaments. So, and then I think we'll see a little bit more rotating, especially since it's early in the season. Don't want to wear people out. So anyway, Drake, as we said, Drake is tomorrow. Canes are favored by 10. The opponent on Friday is going to be Oklahoma State or FAU. Because whoever wins that'll play the winner of our game. Whoever loses, that'll play the loser. So it's one of those 2 teams. I guess we'll start with the boys from Boca, and the collapse of that program. So who wants to take that on first?
Yeah,
they're not good.
I mean, they
hold on, I'm pulling up their record.
They have 2 losses already.
Yeah, so they beat Indiana State and Coastal Georgia pretty decidedly, and then they lost to UCF by 6, and they lost to the College of Charleston in double overtime, and then they beat Liberty in overtime.
So, do they have an advantage because they played in this gym? Is this the same gym where they played Charleston? Yeah, right?
Interesting. No, this is the College of Charleston, not Charleston Southern.
They're different schools, but we're not playing. We're playing in Charleston in the gym, right?
I have no idea.
I know they have some early losses, but I think that they're probably a better team than Drake.
Interesting.
Obviously lost a lot of guys, but still pretty efficient offensively. I think UCF has a lot of talent, so that game wasn't really I wasn't shocked by it. And then Charleston has always been a really good mid-major that runs a lot of good offensive sets that it's hard to guard and whatnot. But I mean, it's so early. That one is going to be interesting to me though too, just because Oklahoma State probably, if not the worst team in the Big 12, one of the worst teams in the Big 12. Big 12 is widely regarded by others as the best basketball conference. They're a pretty good defensive team. It's going to be an interesting one because it's that game is going to be interesting because I feel like it's going to be a clash of styles and whatnot.
So Oklahoma State's record is 3-0. They beat Green Bay 89-76, St. Thomas in Minnesota 80-71, and Southern Illinois 85-78. So they were in relatively close games in all 3.
Yeah.
Yep. Nate's backing me up. I knew I had a point there.
I wasn't sure. I was asking.
There you go.
You were accusatory in your question. Also, just circling back to FAU, Baba Miller's on that team, if you remember.
Yeah, transfer from FSU.
He's caused problems for us over the years.
Yeah, he's not even. I don't even think he's starting.
No, he's not. He's not because they have a 7-footer starting. And then
he's a true freshman too.
Yeah, they got a 7-footer playing some minutes, and then they have Bob Miller. So they got some legit size there because.
Yeah, well, they have
Bob
some
Miller's
power
6'11". Yeah,
they have some power transfers too. I'm trying to remember. There was a guard that they got that I think he was at Xavier at one point. I can't remember his name.
Or
maybe I'm thinking of another team in the Charleston Classic. I was looking at a lot of rosters, so maybe I got mixed up.
I think what's his face? Oklahoma State has a
that's probably
from Xavier. Yeah, no, but there are I mean, like you said, I think you said this. I can't remember if you said this pre-show or during the show, but when Dusty May left, a lot of their team kind of went out.
Yeah,
so it's a new team.
Their entire it's a completely new team. But I mean, that's how a lot of schools are now too.
Yeah. I mean, that's
the transfer portal makes that so. But I think it's safe to say we've obviously played Drake, but whoever we end up playing between Oklahoma State and FAU, I think it's safe to say we're going to be the favored team in either matchup.
Yeah,
that is the. I mean, again, it's early. Yeah, we're going to be favored.
Rocky, we have some early tests coming up. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
in this tournament we do. Yeah,
we do, but even after that, it gets tougher.
Well, no, the other side. I think we're on the easy side of the bracket. We're on a team. I think we're in a side of the bracket that would have been very difficult 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is now
Drake
not.
And FAU, yeah.
But Drake, FAU, and Oklahoma State are probably at their lowest point in the last few years. So, Nate is taking Oklahoma State to task in the chat. But so I do think our side is weaker, and it would be pretty disappointing if we're not in the championship game on Sunday. With this bracket,
I'm intrigued though, if we make it that far, the possible matchup of VCU or Nevada, because I think both those teams are really, really good teams. VCU plays like a 4-guard lineup, I think, so that could be an interesting game. And then Nevada's kind of the opposite. They have like a 6. I think it was like the shortest dude on their team is like 6'5". I think they have like a 6'9" point guard or something. I might be mixing it up. And then like everyone else is 6'7" and taller in their starting lineup. And random fact, they're the 3rd oldest team in college basketball, and they're the 5th tallest team in college basketball. So a lot of size and experience. I think they have like a lot of 6-year guys, 5-year guys. So, you kind of see early on in the season, those are the teams that really perform at a high level. So
VCU or Nevada has the tall lineup?
I think it was Nevada.
Oh.
I want to say.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, sorry if I messed that up. It's just I was looking at all these rosters, like
your eyes go cross-eyed after a while.
Yeah.
So what now? It's 8 teams you're looking at, so it's a lot to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was Nevada. They have Kobe Sanders is 6'9". He's a transfer from Cal Poly.
They got 3 guys listed at 6'10". Yeah, Kobe Sanders guard 6'9".
Yeah. So.
They got a guy from Australia, and they got a 7'1" guy who's a freshman from Alaska.
Yeah,
and a guy from
if you look at like
they're very they got people from everywhere.
Yeah, if you look at like some of their guys individually, you see them like 5 years. 5 years at so and so. They transferred a couple times. Like there's one dude that was at Fresno State in Wyoming, and then now he's at Nevada. So it'll be
that side of the bracket is definitely the more competitive, with the exception because Vanderbilt's over there too. They're not they're solid. Can certainly beat some people. I mean, Seton Hall looks rough. I'd be surprised if they don't lose that opener to VCU and kind of fall down into the losers bracket. But the other three teams the other three teams on that half are almost certainly better than the three teams on our half.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think VCU too, really defensive oriented team. I think I want to say they were 8th in defensive efficiency in the country. So even though they have that like 4-guard lineup that they use at times. So
to address Rocky's question, he asked if we're going to be on every Wednesday. It changes. I work nights and Matt is a basketball coach. So it's kind of just whenever two of us can go. Basically, if Vish can go and one of us is available, we're going to do a show. But that's pretty much how. Next week will be interesting because of the holiday. I'm not sure what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try to announce as soon as we as soon as we know when we're doing shows. We sometimes do impromptu ones as well. As Vincent said, we try to do at least one show a week with the three of us, and then we'll do other kind of smaller shows to react to events that have taken place. So that's kind of the plan for the season. But we will manage to get the crew, all three of us, together at least once a week. Sometimes at 11 p.m.
Yeah, like next week's hard because we usually like to do a Wednesday or Thursday show, but I work next Wednesday and Thursday is Thanksgiving. So likely it would have to be a Wednesday show without me or a Tuesday show without Matt. So, or both. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously within the next week we've got the men are going to play 3 games in 4 days starting tomorrow. So we haven't talked yet, so we'll try to do something to cover some of that. And then
it might turn out where like me and Vish may do a Tuesday show to cover the women, and then him and Matt can do a Wednesday show to talk about the tournament.
Well, we'll figure it out. If you're following, hopefully you're following Buckets Canes on Twitter. It's on the bottom.
Buckets_Canes.
Yeah, we'll announce as soon as we have a show. And also, if you go to the 5 Reasons Canes podcast, just search for that 5 Reasons Canes podcast wherever you get your podcast. You'll find it. All of our shows go out onto that, as well as our football and baseball coverage. So it's all the same feed. But
if you're sick of looking at our faces, you can just listen to us instead.
Well, I mean, if you love the b-ball talk, like we are inconsistent when the show goes out because of the variable schedules of the people on the show, as well as the game schedules are all over the place, and we want to react to events.
And we're covering 2 teams that have multiple games a week, so
we aren't regular. So sometimes you might miss live shows, but the podcast has everything. So if you ever want a basketball fix, it'll be on there.
All right.
There are some long timers, Nate. So I guess all right. So just to kind of recap the breakdown here. So the men play tomorrow at noon. If they win, it'll be Friday at 11:30 a.m. If they lose, it'll be Friday at 2, and then no game Saturday, and then the last game will be on Sunday. Regardless, every team gets 3 games. If they make the finals, it'll be Sunday at 8:30 p.m. So that is the upcoming schedule. I think.
And if they win the first game, I can watch at least part of game 2 before I go to work, which would be nice.
I'll just say this. I agree with what I think it was Rocky. Yeah, said these are when we look at our schedule. Yeah, we have these games in a row. By the way,
Tennessee, Arkansas, Clemson.
Well, and he's got them. It's Clemson, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can set yourself up for a better season by kind of handling business in this tournament, or set yourself up on the path to disaster by not doing so. Yeah. You don't want to come out this weekend like 1-2 or something. I mean, those are gonna be weights around your neck the rest of the season. So they really do need to take care of business here.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you lose like a tight game in the final to VCU or Nevada or Vanderbilt or something, but it's a whole other thing.
Shouldn't be losing to Drake or FAU or Oklahoma State.
Exactly. So, but this is a good opportunity to frankly win this.
Before we move on to Mount Rushmore, I don't know if you guys have seen the Hoops Instagram or Twitter, but they like released the new jerseys for this year. if they don't release that orange jersey with the cursive canes to the public, I'm going to be so sad.
We get another Charlie jersey.
They know there's the orange, which
I know I saw
haven't seen, because all we've seen is the white and the green versions that the women have worn. But there's going to be a black one, and then they have an orange alternate that's the canes and cursive. I need that jersey.
It's very similar to the one the women wore a few years ago.
Similar, yeah. Any word on Huey coming back? Nope.
No, and I think we do need to probably be realistic there. We talked about this a little bit on the last show. He was always a depth piece. I think he would probably be on the fringe of the rotation if he was healthy. Because again, this is what Matt was mentioning earlier. I've been talking about. Melissa's been talking about. In college basketball, you want your talent on the floor, and this is no knock on him, but Lynn Kidd's obviously a better player, so you want to maximize his minutes. And eventually, I'm assuming there's got to be a plan to get Jaleel minutes. That's probably going to involve some time with where you're going to want Brandon Johnson and Matthew Cleveland at the 5 and the 4, and get extra guards on the court. So I don't know, what the plan was for Kyrie Huey. I think if he was 100% healthy, he could have carved out a backup center role, especially if the other team has a big, Lynn Kidd's in foul trouble or something. You need to match big for big. At this point, if he's gonna come back in like January, they might just redshirt him even. I don't know at what point you're like, yes, let's try to work him into this rotation, right? I think missing all this time makes me, question whether or not he's going to play this year or play significantly. If he's not going to play significantly, he is a transfer, and it might make sense for him to take a red shirt and play next year on a full year versus, getting a handful of games in the back half of the season as a part-time player. Agreed.
All right, let's get to
real quick, since Rock asked a question-ish. Don't know, honestly. It's a point of controversy.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Well, it's not controversy between the three of us because we all agree, but we've made it a controversy because we want him to play more.
Yeah, I mean the roster's not balanced, right? So they're gonna have to. So Coach L's gonna have to find a way to get him on the court, and that, based on what we're seeing, and the value stat McRae brings as a defender, that might involve Matthew Cleveland getting more minutes at the 4 to open up some minutes at the wing positions. That maybe you can get some more time for Bethea. Or Bethea, as they say in the arena. I thought it was Bethea, but in the arena they say Bethea, so we will go with that.
All right, let's do Mount Rushmore.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So, do you want to introduce the?
So now I forgot who came up with this. Tonight's Mount Rushmore is. Matt came up with it, is a list of movies that are so bad that they're good. I had to do some major research for this because it was hard to think of 4. Apparently, Matt and Vish have like 10 each.
No, I don't. I was going to try to get to 10, but then I didn't have time. I have like 1, 2,
I have 11.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So I did cheat a little bit because familiar with the show Cinephobe. That whole point is they only it's a podcast review of movies, but they only review shows if they're below 40% on the Rotten Tomatoes critics or audience score. So I got a little writer's block, I guess, and so I went to their list, and then
this is kind of up for public debate because like some people be like, "Oh, that movie's so good, it's not bad. What are you talking about?" But it's really
well. That's why I can fall back. That's why I cheated.
Yeah.
I can fall
it's really funny because like one of the movies I have on here, I loved watching growing up, and it was literally like on every list of like movies so bad that they're good, and I'm like, how is this on the list? But I put it on mine because
let's see. Maybe we'll be debating what's considered a bad movie.
We're gonna allow repeats, so it doesn't really matter who goes first. Vish, would you like to start it off?
Sure, I'll start it off. So this is one of several movies in a franchise, which I actually think a few of these are actually good movies. This one is It's not. I had to go immediately to the series that'll never end, the Fast and the Furious franchise, and specifically the third one, Tokyo Drift.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
It is. I feel like hits the nail on the head because so it doesn't have any of the main characters other than Vin Diesel at the very end. So it's barely even part of the franchise.
It's kind of like an outlier.
It's a bunch of people in their mid to late 20s pretending they're in high school. It's all the marks. And
dude, the main guy looks like he's like 40.
I mean, his hairline's receding, and he's supposed to be in high school. But
yeah,
Lucas Black. But if you actually just pull back and watch it, it's an entertaining and good movie. It's a fun movie to watch. Doesn't take itself too seriously, unlike Too Fast, Too Furious, which is so goofbally. I don't think it knows what it wants to be. I'm a big fan of Tokyo Drift. It's the one that if you ask fans of the franchise, what's the worst one, they automatically say Tokyo Drift, just because Paul Walker's not in it, Diesel's barely in it. You don't have any of the main characters, but just watch it as a movie. It's pretty damn good.
All right, Matt.
Also, what a fucking pull from Rocky. License to Drive. Holy crap. Is that the Corey Haim movie and Corey Feldman, the two Corys? Anyway, wait for Rocky to answer. Go for it, Matt.
I'm going to go... I went with really shitty movies.
That's the point.
So I'm going to go with... I don't know if you guys remember this. This is a movie that came out in 2003. It was a kid's like comedy movie, but I think it was more adult. Humor, and it's a movie called Kangaroo Jack.
Do you guys remember that movie? I have not watched it. I've heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was more my. I mean, it came out. Yeah, it came out in like 2003. It got like terrible reviews, but I mean, it was like stupid humor. It's with Anthony Anderson, and I think Christopher Walken's in it too. But
is it? Do I have to watch this? What is this? I think I might have to watch this. So.
I mean, if you want, I haven't watched it in forever. I just remember I thought it was the funniest fucking movie ever when I was a kid. So I had to put it on my list, and it's a super random, obscure movie. So.
Oh, nice. License to Drive. That is a fun one to watch.
It was bad, utterly bad. There we go. So bad.
So that's not so bad it's good. It's just bad. It's bad. And then I think Dream a Little Dream is also the two Corys. But anyway, rest in peace, Corey Haim. Go for it,
I
Melissa.
picked really shitty movies.
This is actually
that is the point.
So my first movie, when Matt came up with this topic, it's the first movie I thought of because I love this movie and everyone thinks it's so shitty. But I remember seeing it in theaters like the second night it came out, and me and some of my friends back home went to go see it the night before we were all leaving to go back to college. And there was 5 of us and then like 4 other people in the theater, and we had such a good time. So my first movie is Snakes on a Plane.
Damn it, that was on my list.
You can repeat.
I can still take it, right?
Yeah, you can repeat.
Motherfucking snakes.
I love that movie, and there was an interview I saw where Samuel L. Jackson talked about it, and he had said like they were going to call it Pacific Flight 113, and he's like, I'm not filming this if you call it Pacific Flight 113. I'm calling it Snakes on a Plane. And then he even made a comment about that he loves that movie because he had a great time, and he would make Snakes on a Plane 2 and 3. But like everybody I know thinks the movie's so dumb, and I literally own it on DVD.
It's not. So, I think it hits the topic perfectly because yes, it's dumb, but that's the point.
I know, but it's so good. I love it.
I love it.
So that's my first. Vish, what's your second?
Okay, so this is probably around 2000 or so. This came out, maybe 2001. So you got Nicolas Cage, Angelina Jolie, and Boosting Cars. Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, okay.
Where they inexplicably decide they have to boost 50 cars. They're going to do it in one night because why not? You know, it's got your cliche stuff. He's come back to do one last job to save his brother. They always got to do the one last job. You know how much money? Have you seen this movie? Are you familiar with this movie?
I'm familiar with it.
They're stealing 50 cars, high-end cars. They're doing it overnight and loading it onto a ship to set sail for South America. How much money do you think they're getting paid for this?
How much?
$200,000. 50 cars.
That's lame. That's lame.
What a great stupid movie. It is fun. It doesn't make any sense. Nicolas Cage dyed his hair blonde. It's amazing. It's an amazing movie. The Lowrider. The Lowrider is amazing. The Lowrider makes no sense either. What a great fucking stupid movie that is.
Matt, is Snakes on a Plane your second?
I'm gonna try to go with different ones.
Okay. What's your second?
So I'm gonna go with my second. I'm gonna go with a basketball movie that you guys probably have never heard of, and that's why I wanted to go with it. It's with Anthony Mackie and actually Wayne Brady. Wayne Brady's like the bad guy, like the bad guy in it. It's like a street ball movie. So Anthony Mackie is oh, sorry, I was reading what Nate was saying. I thought he was gonna say something.
What's it called?
He's quoting Gone in 60 Seconds. That's what my man's doing here.
It's called Crossover. It came out in like 2006.
This movie, that one I've not heard of. I'm not even familiar with
it. Exactly. It came out in 2006. The main guy that like Anthony Mackie plays, like his team is always like losing to this other street ball team, and so he finally recruits like one of his friends to kind of play in the game. I'm not going to give away the rest of the plot because
don't ruin this masterpiece.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you. But basically learns to play like team basketball. It's like the whole premise of the movie. It's so fucking stupid, but it's hilarious.
My second movie is actually a movie me and Vish talked about. Like, I don't know if it was a couple of weeks ago, because he was watching it. It really is a stupid movie, but if you watch the DVD commentary, it makes it 20 million times better. The movie's called Tropic Thunder.
But that's like a great movie.
People hate it. So
really?
Robert Downey Jr. plays an Australian playing a black man in this film. Ben Stiller's in it also. If you listen to the DVD commentary, Robert Downey Jr. does the commentary.
Jack Black is in it too, right?
Yeah. But Downey does the commentary in character, and it's fucking hilarious. It's such a great movie. People hate it. I think it's hilarious.
What's that one line he says? I'm the dude playing.
I haven't watched it in a really long time. That one line he says. It's another movie that
I am not quoting anything from that movie at this juncture. But I don't know what you're saying here.
Nate likes it. Tropic Thunder is a classic. It's really funny. Some of the movies we're mentioning, people actually like.
Nate, there's a Darius Miles movie.
We should have gotten Nate on the show for this Mount Rushmore.
There's a Darius Miles movie. That is breaking news.
All right, Vish, what's your third?
All right, my third goes into the realm of martial arts. You got to have a Van Damme on your list. Did I take yours? I have 11 total, so I can switch. You got to have a Van Damme on your list, so I went for the classic Van Damme movie. It might have been his first movie, Bloodsport.
Damn it! I love Bloodsport.
Based on the true story of a liar, Frank Dukes, who claimed that this was a true story, and they got paid royalties for it and everything. And then it turns out he's just made the whole thing up. Said he was a CIA undercover operative that entered an underground kung fu tournament and won it. And so they made a movie about it. And he just made the whole thing up. But anyway, great movie.
This is our most popular Mount Rushmore that we've ever done.
This is a great topic.
I had people commenting on Twitter about it too.
I know. This is polarizing.
All right, Matt.
I know one of them took mine, so I'm not going to use that one either. It was Master of Disguise. That one was so funny.
Matt, what's your third?
What is your third one?
What do I want to go with here? I have one more basketball movie that's so awful.
Do it.
Well, I have two. I'll go. Okay. I'll go one that stars. This one is so bad. Stars Cedric the Entertainer, and I think Lucy Liu as well. It's called Codename the Cleaner. It's like the dude's basically a janitor. Codename the Cleaner.
Codename the Cleaner.
The Cleaner. Yeah. So the dude wakes up, he like wakes up in like with like a briefcase full of money, and like I think there's like a dead body or something, and so he thinks that he's like a secret agent, like in the movie, and then at the end he realizes he's like just a janitor. Like it's a yeah. I don't remember the whole premise.
You can tell Matt lives out in Hollywood because he's pulling these things out that no one's
I've only heard of one of his 3 so far.
It's it has 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah.
I guess for a 0% movie.
My third.
Oh, one of mine was 0%. It was was Kangaroo Jack's 0? One of the ones on my list was.
So
I wasn't insulting Bloodsport, Nate. The whole point of this is we like the movies we're listing.
Exactly. So my third one, I actually remember watching like as a small child and thinking it was like really scary. It's really not. It's actually a terrible movie, but I love it just for the nostalgia. Reba McEntire is in it. And the plot is about these massive underground snake monsters that eat people, and it's called Tremors.
I literally watched Tremors like 2 days ago. I love that movie.
It's a classic.
Kevin Bacon.
So Kevin Bacon is in it. Yeah. Like, it's so bad, but I remember watching it as a kid and being so scared. Like, a guy literally dies clinging onto a pole because, like, these massive underground snakes just camp out because they can hear him. And so he just dies on a pole. And then, like, Reba, her character and her husband, like, kill one in their underground armory in their basement with all their guns. And, like, it's such a crazy movie. It's so bad that it's good.
The thing eats a station wagon. It is a...
I'm getting tweets about Tropic Thunder.
Tremors is a great one. I love that movie. I literally, it's on Paramount Plus. If anyone wants to watch it, I watched it the other day.
Oh my god,
it's a classic for sure.
Listen knows I put on like movies I've watched a million times when I'm doing stuff, so that was on the rotation the other day, and I just watched it. We got ourselves a plan.
A Reba McEntire and Kevin Bacon classic.
Isn't Jaws like an Academy Award winner? Or like special effects.
Have you watched Jaws though? The special effects.
Oh well, now
back then it was really good. Now with the technology of our time, it's terrible. But yeah. All right, Vish, what's your fourth?
Oh God, I have 7 honorable mentions. We're gonna have to shout them out there after this. So but I want to see if I want to make a change here.
I was hoping to end the pod by midnight. So
yes,
it's 12:04.
Well, you didn't skip to the rundown, so don't blame me. Look at the timestamps later and see where you blew through the rundown. Anyway, all right, I'll go with this one. I have my seven honorable mentions to go through at the end, but I'll keep the order I have. So this movie, the script must be like half a page long. It's just montages. Rocky IV. So
there you go.
If you have not seen Rocky IV, it's the one with Drago where he kills Apollo, but it is montage from the previous Rocky movies, the fight. Then Rocky gets in his car, drives. They show a montage from the movie you're watching now that happened 5 minutes ago. They got a montage of that. Then he goes to Russia. Back-to-back montages. Then he fights Drago and then end the movie. That script has got to be a half-page long, but it's so fun. It's stupid, but it's a fun movie.
All right, Matt, what's your fourth?
My last one, I was going to go with another basketball one, but I randomly just thought of this movie as we were sitting here. And I'm gonna go with Balls of Fury. I don't know if you remember that movie. It's the
ping pong movie. Okay,
I know it.
Yeah.
He named one that we
with Christopher Walken. Yeah. He was like recruited by the FBI, this former ping pong player, to go and play in this like secret tournament where like I think that like if you lose you fucking die, right? Or something like but funny ass movie. I'll say my honorable mention after this.
Vish, your camera got blurry. Does it look blurry to you, Matt?
It is blurry. I can see it blurry. I can see myself blurry.
I was like, am I having a stroke or did something happen with his camera?
Well, sometimes I can trick it into focusing. Anyway, keep going.
All right. So my fourth one, which I didn't really think of, but it was literally on all of these. Like I just Googled movies so bad they're good lists. And it kept showing up on every list, and I didn't understand because I love this movie. And it's the Batman and Robin movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that's on.
Like, that's like one of my favorite Batman movies growing up, and I was so confused as to why it was on these lists, but apparently people like hated it and thought it was terrible. I loved it. I literally, like, when they used to show it like on TV, I would watch it all the time. It's the George Clooney's Batman.
Yeah, no, critics hated it, which is why I think it ends up on this list.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of these are, right? And Rocky, the whole point is we like the movies. Why is everyone getting mad at me for saying movies I like? And like, how dare you?
Look at his name.
I know, but that's the second time I've been yelled at for saying a movie that's actually like the whole point is we like the movies. All right, I'm gonna blow through my honorable mentions real quick. Swordfish, that's the Travolta, Hugh Jackman hacking movie. The original Red Dawn from the 1980s is so freaking stupid, but still holds up.
Yeah.
Not the new one, the old one.
Yeah, no, I've seen the old one.
The Wild Wild West, the Will Smith, Kevin Kline movie.
Oh, that's a good one. I used to watch that on TV all the time.
I know it's terrible though, but it's good.
Terrible, but I enjoyed it.
It's fun, but it's terrible.
Yeah.
R.I.P.D. the movie with
Oh yeah.
Where what's his face? Oh god, I'm spacing. Where he dies and becomes a cop. It's got Kevin Bacon in it too. Ryan Reynolds. Jesus.
You're no longer blurry.
Right. Where Ryan Reynolds is an undead police officer. Yeah, no, I'm still going. I got 3 left. Johnny Be Good. It's the Anthony Michael Hall quarterback movie where he's getting recruited by a bunch of schools. It was when he tried to not be a nerd and play against typecast. Delta Force, Chuck Norris movie where they go into the Middle East and rescue a bunch of hostages. And last but not least, Dante's Peak, the Pierce Brosnan volcano movie.
Wait, is Dante's Peak the one where the guy like dies in the lava trying to push a boat or something?
It wasn't the guy, it was the grandma. Yes.
Grandma, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, with Linda Hamilton in it.
So she dies because she like just goes like waist deep into lava.
Well, into the water, which was boiling, and
that traumatized me as a kid.
Yeah, but
we watched that in school.
She was the one who made them go out there in the first place because she refused to evacuate.
Yeah.
Pierce put the town on alert, and she didn't adhere to it. So
yeah,
she got her. She got what
movie in school. I was slightly terrified.
Anyway, those are my 7 honorable mentions.
World War Z.
I had Rebound with Martin Lawrence on my.
Oh God, I thought about that, and I was like,
and then I had Thunderstruck, which is basically like Mike, but it's with Kevin Durant, where like his talent gets stolen, and it's like the worst movie with like the worst You know,
Kevin Durant has a movie. What the hell?
It's so. It came out in 2012. It's called Thunderstruck, and the basketball in it is so awful. It's the worst like basketball I've seen in a movie like ever. That's why, and it's like hilariously bad. That was on my list. I think I said the other ones in the comments. I think that was it.
I might watch Tremors again while I'm editing this.
Thanks on a Plane was on your list, Matt?
Yeah, that was on my list. And then that was like the best movie, like the highest reviewed one that I had on my list.
I love that movie. So I think, is our next Mount Rushmore going to be that NBA one?
Yeah, we'll introduce that later. Shout out to Liam though for getting us the topic.
Let's move on to final thoughts.
Do we have any? Yeah, I think.
Matt, do you have?
As long as Matt is
okay, good.
Yeah. We got the we got the Red Dawn reference. We got to.
I feel like Vish and Nate need to have a discussion about movies on their own time.
Let's go on to final thoughts so I can end this and watch Tremors while I'm editing it. All right, let's do this.
For today's final thoughts, I have a very special message that I want to send to my lovely wife. I just want to say that I love you and I'm proud of you. And the reason why I'm doing this final thoughts right now, she got a promotion at work, so I just wanted to give her a shout out, but she's actually on the other side of the room, so she can hear me right now. But just wanted to say I'm proud of her.
Congratulations, Monica.
Oh.
I don't even think she heard me say that right now.
Well, anyway, you can play it. You're gonna have to play it back to her. So
shout out to Monica for the promotion.
Yes.
There we go.
We've talked to her once at. Weren't you guys
Taco
like
Bell.
eating
Taco
Chipotle or
Bell.
Taco Bell or something?
Taco Bell.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've talked to a Taco Bell. I've met her. So some of us did not renege on our responsibility to attend the ACC tournament.
I never said I was coming in the first place. So there was no backing out. I said if I can get off work, I will go. But I did not move things around for a team that finished second to last in the ACC. Instead, we went to Cal and saw the Canes come back from a 25-point deficit and win. So there's that. Go Canes, beat Wake Forest. Cue the Sox outro.
Don't cry. Keep it chill. Wear good socks.